We will be releasing further documents tomorrow that will refute that statement. And I would go back and point to, and we will be pulling a whole host of statements that were made by the Obama administration, by Hillary Clinton, by senior Democrat officials, by their friends in the media that state over and over again after this January 2017 manufactured intelligence document was created that repeat the narrative. And I'm looking at my notes here. New York Times says Russian hackers acted to aid Trump in the election. Obama's CIA Director John Brennan says there is strong consensus among us to support the CIA claim Russian hackers aided Donald Trump's election. Hillary Clinton said, I would be president if not for the Russian hackers supporting Donald Trump. So there is a vast body of evidence and intelligence that debunks and refutes this statement you've just read and others coming from some of the Democrat leaders in Congress today.
What would you say to people who believe that you're only releasing these documents now to improve your standing with the president after he said that your intelligence assessments were wrong?
So yesterday, CNN's Kaitlan Collins started going after Tulsi and her intentions by using a comment that Marco Rubio, now Secretary of State, who used to be anti-Trump, Marco Rubio made when he was a senator as it pertained to the Russian hoax. And Karoline Leavitt's up there with Tulsi. Take a look.
Just on this, Director Gabbard, you referenced the past intelligence reports and assessments on this, including that 2017 one that was signed off, as Ed noted, by every Republican on the Senate Intelligence Community, including the acting chair of the time, now Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who said in a statement that they did not find any evidence of Russian collusion, but they did find, however, is very troubling, and they found irrefutable evidence of Russian meddling.
What's up, everybody? Major Retired Richard Ojeda here, and have you seen this? Kaitlan Collins asked Karoline Leavitt one simple question about Donald Trump and the Epstein files, and Leavitt imploded. She usually lies without even blinking, but this time she stumbled. She froze. She actually looked embarrassed, and that tells you everything that you need to know.
The effort to talk to Ghislaine Maxwell, I know that Todd Blanchard mentioned that earlier this week.
The president spoke to this yesterday, and he said he thinks it's an appropriate idea. Kelly.
What is the accountability that you would like to see if this current president is the one who brought the case to the Supreme Court and Chief Justice Roberts made clear in his opinion that a sitting president's responsibilities in office cannot lead to prosecution, immunity? So what is it the President Trump wants regarding President Obama, given that fact? And the special counsel at the time, Durham, when that Supreme Court matter was not in effect, could have charged anyone and did not. So on those 2 points, how do you respond?
Look, the president has made it clear that he wanted these documents to be declassified. He wanted the American people to see the truth, and now he wants those who perpetuated these lies in this scandal to be held accountable. As for what accountability looks like, as the director said, it's in the Department of Justice's hands, and we trust them to move this ball forward.
Well, you would agree President Obama cannot be charged based on that immunity.
Again, I'll leave that to the Department of Justice.
Trump has undermined his own cabinet so many times that even his most loyal defenders don't know who they're supposed to believe anymore. He says one thing, reverses it the next day, and stacks lie after lie. It's chaos, total chaos. And it's not just Leavitt. Look at Tulsi Gabbard. She looks like she's being held at gunpoint while she parrots these MAGA talking points. You can see she doesn't even believe the garbage that's coming out of her own mouth. Why? Because she's desperate. She was humiliated by Trump after he rejected her assessment on Iran. She used to stand for the voiceless. She went to bat for enlisted soldiers, the E1 to E4s, those 19 to 24-year-olds facing sexual assault in the military. She stood with the families of victims, like the young woman killed at Fort Hood in Killeen, Texas. But now she's abandoned the victims she once fought for. She's defending the very predators she claimed to oppose. She's weaponizing faith and spirituality to shield MAGA cultists while cozying up to a pedophile and a billionaire boys club. And look who she's aligned herself with, RFK Jr., the biggest conspiracy nut out there. The guy's pushing fake science about vaccines causing autism. The guy telling people to treat measles with vitamin A. The same fringe crowd screaming about fluoride blocking their third eye and selling alien channeling sessions for $99.99. That's who she's pandering to now. And why? Because conspiracies are the duct tape holding this entire MAGA movement together. It's not patriotism. It's not love of country. It's not about family values or doing good for society. It's paranoia. It's fear-mongering. It's gluing a flimsy house of cards together and shoving it through a hurricane. Fragile, desperate, and destined to collapse. And make no mistake, this chaos, these lies, these distractions, they're deliberate. Conspiracies are a weapon. They control people through fear. They divide a country from the inside. Khrushchev warned us decades ago they wouldn't have to fire a single shot to destroy America. They'd just divide us from within. And this is exactly how they're doing it. Because what are they really hiding? Trump is desperate. He knows the Epstein files are coming, and they're damning, not just for him, but for his entire circle. That's why they're spinning. That's why they're smearing. That's why they're setting off smoke alarms while the arsonists, child traffickers, and pedophiles try to slip out the back door. And when even Karoline Leavitt looks embarrassed, when Tulsi Gabbard looks like she's reading a hostage note, you know that the truth is too big for even them to hide. And here's the bottom line. During a 3-hour interview with Jeffrey Epstein, they asked him about Donald Trump. And Epstein said Donald Trump doesn't have a moral compass. So what kind of piece of garbage do you have to be for Jeffrey Epstein to say you're worse than him? That's Donald Trump. And that's the truth they're terrified will actually come out. You thought Tulsi was in this fight? And you know what? Once again, just like Marco Rubio and the rest of them that absolutely despise Donald Trump, once they dangled a little carrot with a job attached to it, they all jumped at it. And it's blowing up in their faces. Russia absolutely participated and was caught participating. They want to throw stones because this Epstein list is absolutely damning, and they know that it's going to be very damning, especially to Donald Trump. And it's going to really, really blow up in Pam Bondi's face. You know, think about that. And remember, she's had all of those files, and you know that she spent time looking at some of it. And this stuff, we're talking about adults preying on kids. And she's going to do everything in her power to try to protect Donald Trump and probably anybody else. Because once again, this is going to literally probably destroy quite a few people in the Billionaire Boys Club, which is exactly what Epstein's Island was. And make no mistake about it, they know that it's coming. That's why they shut Congress down. But make no mistake about it, the Democrats are fighting. You know, Ghislaine Maxwell is going to be interviewed right now. Even Republicans are calling for her to testify on the House floor. So stuff is going to start to surface. And these videos and photographs, you know, we may never see them. And to be honest with you, we shouldn't. Because once again, you're talking about children and the things that happen to them. But make no mistake about it, the people that are in Congress are going to end up having to look at that garbage. And let me tell you something else. It's going to be so fun when J.D. Vance steals the presidency from Donald Trump. And let me tell you something. If he pardons Donald Trump, it's going to make it even worse for him and his administration. And this is why they're blaming Obama. It's all smoke and mirrors. They know that their base is so brainwashed, so deep in the MAGA propaganda machine, they'll swallow any lie without question. They've turned conspiracies into a weapon. Fear, paranoia, fake spirituality. They call it faith and family values, but it's just a smokescreen. They tell people they're protecting kids while actually protecting the predators who built Epstein's Island. Why do people fall for this nonsense? Because it's designed to control them. It caters to fear. It promises them secret knowledge, magical thinking, fake miracles. It's alien channelers, anti-vaxxers, fluoride weirdos, prosperity gospel hucksters, all of them making money off of the undereducated and the desperate. It's not patriotism. It's not love of country. It's not family values. It's brainwashing. And make no mistake, this is exactly what Khrushchev warned us about decades ago. They won't have to fire a single shot to destroy America. They'll just divide us from within. And that's exactly what this conspiracy cult is doing. Because what's coming in those Epstein files? It's going to destroy them. Trump most of all. And Tulsi Gabbard, she sold out everything she once stood for to cover for him. And when the truth finally surfaces, there won't be a single lie big enough to hide it. And that is an absolute fact. Sappers clear the way, airborne all the way.